All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Dessette, and I am the Event Marketing Manager here at NetElixir. Welcome back to our attendees who have been joining us all week long, and welcome to the new attendees joining us here today for our third and final day of e-commerce growth week. As you're aware, online consumer behavior has changed drastically in the past 12 months, and NetElixir has been successful in helping over 100 companies reach double-digit growth by having our clients adjust their marketing strategies to stay relevant. So, what strategies have helped our customers in the past 12 months? Joining me today to discuss the strategies for driving exponential sales growth on Amazon Marketplace is Manish Mohan, who is the Senior Director of Digital Strategy, and Matt Roth, who is our Paid Search Analyst. Before I kick it over to them, I did want to give you a quick background on who NetElixir is. So here at NetElixir, we help e-commerce brands find and engage high-value customers and acquire game-changing insights. We do this using our proprietary tool, Elixir Insights. You can go to netelixir.com/Elixir Insights to request your demo. I am going to drop the link right here for our audience, right in the chat. So just go to that link and request a demo if you're interested in seeing how the tool works. Next, I'd like to go over a list of our solutions listed here to the left. At the top, you can see that we're proud to be premier partners with UPS, Google, Bing, and Facebook. And at the bottom is a list of the clients that we have a privilege of working with. As you can see, their industries vary from food to fashion. All right. So at the end of today's presentation, there is going to be a quick survey that appears on your screen, but we want to make today's presentation as engaging as possible. So if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them using the Q&A button located at the bottom of your screen or with the chat box, and we'll push them through to our speakers. I also highly recommend that you start following us on social if you're not doing so. Here's a few of our social handles. All right, I'm going to kick it over now to Manish. Manish, why Amazon?
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. Awesome. So I think we would love to start off with looking at some key statistics for Amazon in the US market. And it's no surprise that Amazon as a platform has been growing at an insane pace over the last 3 to 4 years. It did see a growth of around 47% last year due to the pandemic. While the growth numbers are expected to come down this year, we do anticipate that the overall growth for Amazon as a platform will definitely continue. On the next slide, you'll see that it's not just the growth within Amazon, but if you look at the overall marketplace sales in the US, that is also bound to grow at a very strong rate. And there are two key numbers that I would like to focus on here. One is, what is Amazon's share within the total marketplace sales, which is roughly around 70% this year, expected to be 70%, and growing by around another 1% next year. This is important because while the focus today for this webinar is on Amazon, it's equally important that we do not lose sight of other marketplaces that are also growing at a healthy pace, including the top ones like Walmart, eBay. And moving forward, we also anticipate social commerce. When you look at things such as Facebook shops, Instagram shops, these platforms will also become an integral part of the marketplace ecosystem. And all the recent updates around privacy, the cookieless future, all these elements also have an impact on how brands will start perceiving marketplaces. We can go on to the next slide, Heather. While the actual sales on marketplaces is definitely growing, it is also interesting to see how Amazon fits in with some of the other tech partners, namely Google, Microsoft, and some of the other ones. And what has been very interesting to see is as Google's share of ad revenue goes down from, let's say, all the way from 61% back in 2019 to around 55% in 2022. Amazon at the same time is growing by exactly the same percentage, going from 13% to around 21%. This shift is very interesting for every brand that is out there, because while Google, Facebook, and Microsoft may have been your go-to channels from a customer acquisition standpoint, now it is important that Amazon factors in that in the top 5, the top 10 channels, and you have a strategy to kind of accommodate this marketplace in your overall digital mix. So with that, I'll hand it over to Matt, who will talk about how exactly do you use certain tools and technologies out there to estimate what your potential market size is on Amazon. Matt, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Manish. So yeah, based on the information Manish has just presented, it is no surprise just how impactful Amazon has become in terms of growth. With that being said, our team at NetElixir partners with a platform that provides vast amounts of capabilities to uncover these types of results and insights. In this slide, you will see firsthand just how much this helps your business know your overall market. Therefore, today presented is a realistic example that showcases the market size for hair care. So in this example, it includes all assets that are in hair care, hair shampoo, tools, stylers, you name it. So with that overall, this is a high level snapshot of the types of opportunities that this tool provides. Whether your business is new and looking to enter a specific market segment, or on the other hand, your business is more mature in a space, each are very beneficial to better understand whether that market is growing or not with the use of this tool. So with that said, presented are 5 different types of metrics that we're able to see from this high level snapshot, including the types of brands, or the number of brands, the revenue, unit sales, ASINs, and categories. To really pinpoint where the growth opportunities are, these high level metrics really generate that true understanding of where you stand in your market and the overall growth and opportunities that come with it. So with that, to really pinpoint off of this slide for hair care, you could see highlighted in green for revenue and unit sales, both are up astronomically year over year. Specifically in revenue, there's been a total of almost $230 million generated, which is up 156% year over year, and unit sales is up 153%. So with that said, in the next slide, the tool provides an in-depth opportunities amongst brands. So as shown in this example are some selected brands that fall into the hair care market segment to help better understand this space. The tool enables different metrics to gauge from in the bottom left-hand side of the slide, you can see there's different types of metrics, including ASINs, average reviews, median price, revenue. So with that said, one metric to really point out is median price. With that, again, like whether you're new or existing to Amazon advertising, understanding the median price of your products compared to competitors in the same market as you is a huge added benefit that we're able to truly understand with the use of our tools from our team. This almost works as like a report card to see how well positioned you are to acquire customers compared to competitors in your space. Another really cool part of this type of segment is you're able to see either day over day, week over week, month over month capabilities. But specifically for this one, you're seeing the past 12 months for selected brands. So next slide. Awesome. So highlighting this slide are some of top products in the hair care market based off of total sales and market share within this given time frame. In this case, this is the past 6 months, but have the capability to choose between the past 1 month or 3 months as well. Why this specific type of aspect or asset in the platform we have that we use is we're able to develop a concrete conquesting strategy for our clients. From having this type of knowledge for which products are performing best, so we're given an amount of 25 up to are performing best, and then able to develop a marketing strategy across Amazon to target specific products that we see here. And we're able to build out concrete campaigns from it using a conquesting strategy. So found in the next slides are more specific and granular market segment approach than previously discussing a high level overview. So as just mentioned, a very neat aspect of this tool is just how flexible we are able to retrieve pretty much any and all market segments. If your business is in a certain type of market, we're able to find specific and key results for you. So based off of your business and working with us, we're able to develop a strategy with you to uncover the necessary categories to discover insights. So going back to this presentation's example for hair care, prepared today is a more specific hair care example driven by dry shampoo. Shown in this example, again, is to highlight the amount of growth in green. So the revenue is up 67% and generated almost $45 million in revenue for the past year. This is just for dry shampoo. And with that, the unit sales is up 73%. So with that, you're really able to see the amount of opportunity that you're able to uncover. And again, on the left-hand side, you're able to see the different. So in this case, we're just looking at revenue, where you're able to look at 1P or 3P. So based off of your business, if you're selling across 1P, you're able to see that specifically, or 3P. So great. So now moving on to segments, we're going deeper into the dry shampoo market segment. We are able to see the types of trends across multiple metrics. So one thing I really want to point out in this graph is just specifically the yellow line. This represents brands. As seen in this example for a dry shampoo, is that brands have consistently been on the rise upwards for the past year. Having this knowledge for your business, whether the amount of brands in this segment is growing or not, could be found as both extraordinarily exciting and maybe challenging based on how you look at it, but more so exciting. But in terms of knowing this, is that is to see how well in demand type of business for customers that knowing how many brands are in the space type of deal. And again, for this, you're able to see the day over day, week over week, and month over month trends within that year. So for this example, we are looking at the past month over month for the past year. Awesome. And then next slide. Yes, thank you. As shown in the previous slide, is that this showcases top 25 performing products in the given time period. For this instance, again, it's the past 6 months, but you're able to also see the past 1 month or the past 3 months as well. The main takeaway I really want to gain from this is that with understanding the top 25 products, our team is able to work with your business to generate campaigns with a conquesting method that is backed up strategic insights based off of this tool. All in all, we have estimated the overall Amazon marketplace. Well, let's now look forward to how NetElixir are able to build out a very concrete strategy for you across Amazon. Over to you, Manish.
Thanks, Matt. Perfect. So I think now that we have seen, assuming that, let's say, we are working in the haircare vertical, or we're looking at a brand in the haircare vertical, we now know what the potential is, right? We have outlined the total addressable universe on Amazon. Now, step 2 is essentially creating the specific strategy. And we would typically recommend doing that by asking some fundamental questions, right? Which is trying to get a better understanding of your current Amazon strategy. If you look at the next slide, the first question that we like to ask our clients is, do you currently approach Amazon more as just a marketplace or a shopping platform? Or do you also look at it more as a brand discovery tool? The latter, the better, because what we have seen over the last 2 years is outside of Google and YouTube, understandably being some of the established search platforms, Amazon increasingly is becoming that as well. And this is partly driven by customers, understandably, engaging more with content on Amazon, but it's also being driven by the platform itself, where if you look at Amazon today, you have much stronger product recommendations. You also see editorial recommendations where they compare products head to head, across 5 or 6 brands. So it's doing what Google essentially does really well on the organic side. After you understand that, I think it's also important to see, if you have been on Amazon, how exactly has the share of revenue grown over the last few years? And more specifically, compared to your website, do you see any patterns that are different? That is something that we do a lot at NetElixir. Having had the opportunity to work with many of our clients across paid search, paid social, and Amazon, we are able to put all these channels head to head and go to product insights, where we look at how exactly is a particular SKU or a particular product doing on your website, and learn some insights to extend it further to Amazon. Which takes me to the third point, which is, if you are new to Amazon, what exactly do you have in mind as far as your inventory is concerned? We have worked with brands that look at Amazon merely as a distribution point, in which case the usual strategy is to have all your products listed across your website and on Amazon. There are brands who also look at Amazon as a very specific distribution point in terms of letting the customers access only select products. Now, we have a slide on that, which I'll get into later. If you are using the 3P platform, right, and if you have resellers on the Amazon Marketplace, it's always good to have a very close watch on how many resellers do you have and how well are they controlled from a pricing standpoint. This is important to understand that, or to maintain your overall brand experience as you extend into multiple marketplaces. So with that, I think we'll get to the next slide, wherein we'll start.
Manish, before we go on to the next slide, we have a question from the audience.
Sure.
The audience would like to know, what's the fastest growing segment or categories on Amazon?
Awesome. So it's a list that is constantly changing, but I think based on the latest data we had seen, beauty vertical, makeup, beauty, hair care was one of the fast growing segments. Apparel was also a close second. And I believe the third segment was around consumer electronics. So these three have been growing really fast. But interestingly, Amazon is obviously opening up the platform a lot more now, wherein the usual perception that people had that expensive products don't sell well on Amazon, that is now changing, especially thanks to the growth of the Prime program, the Amazon Prime membership, with roughly over 150 million users in the US having Prime membership. The products at any price point are literally now can be sold on Amazon. So yeah. So on this slide, what we're essentially looking at is whether you are new to Amazon or whether you've been on Amazon for a while now. It's always good to come up with an overall product strategy first. We are not even talking about the advertising side of things currently. It's important to understand that the cost structure on Amazon is very different from your direct, to consumer side. Thanks to the different fees that you have, the selling fees, the commission that you pay to Amazon, the inventory fees. If you're using FBA, then there's an additional component there. So what this essentially means is a product that is worth $20 when sold directly on your website, let's say with free shipping, and when you sell the same product at the same price on Amazon, your margins could be very different. That is where we would like you to start. If you throw all your products onto this grid, use your current data on your website, and map out your profit margin and your revenue share by each SKU. Identify the products where the margins are strong enough to allow you to absorb some of the additional cost on the Amazon side. And at the same time, isolate some of the products wherein either due to the sales volume being low or just because of the fact that they are lower priced or the margins are thin, you may actually want to exclude those products from your Amazon strategy. This is a lot easier for a brand that has a lot of direct-to-consumer data. For someone who is brand new to the market, they have no experience on the D2C side, and they're also new to Amazon, the idea will be to throw all your products into Amazon, use the data from the first 1 or 2 months, and be nimble enough to constantly learn and adapt. And with that, once you identify these products, then step 2 becomes identifying the bottom line that you need to make the numbers work. Like I said before, your current strategy might be to have an overall ROI of, let's say, 3x or 5x on your D2C side. On Amazon, it may have to be 5x or 6x for you to eventually make sense from a commercial standpoint. So with that, we go to the next slide. Assuming that you have identified what products to sell, and you will obviously need a lot of external tools and partnerships to understand what is the level of competition on those SKUs. That is something that Matt had shown you. You will also have to do a lot of research on the pricing. So like I said, the product that you're selling right now may be at $20 on your site. Is $20 a good price on Amazon? Maybe yes, maybe no. So that is where you'll have to do a very in-depth analysis on the top selling SKUs on Amazon from your competitors and try to price your product appropriately. Once all that is done, that is when you get into the advertising side of it. And as you can see on this slide, the three boxes that you see, sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display, these are the campaign options that Amazon provides to any seller. Right? Whether you spend $10,000 a month or whether you spend $1 million a month on Amazon, these are broadly the three campaigns that you can leverage. What you see on the left is a blueprint that NetElixir has developed, working on Amazon with so many clients over the last few years, wherein we use a six-phased model, starting off with some what we call as the defensive brand advertising, very similar to what we see on the Google side, where if someone searches for your top selling products or they search for your key brand terms, you want to make sure that you don't end up letting a competitor grab market share from you. And this is a lot more prominent on Amazon. The reason being, the way Amazon advertising is set up or the way the Amazon ecosystem is set up, it does allow competitors to have active conquesting strategies all the way up to your product detail page. And hence, having a defensive brand strategy is extremely important, whether you are new on Amazon or whether you are a very established brand. Once you secure your territory from a brand standpoint, we recommend creating some upper funnel campaigns around generic head terms. And the idea here is very similar to how you would approach non-brand search on Google. The overall return on ad spend might be very low, but Amazon has a very interesting metric called as new to brand. So if you are running a sponsored brand campaign for some of the basic generic terms in your vertical, you can technically see of all the orders or of all the revenue that was generated from that campaign, what percentage came from new customers. And the way Amazon defines new customers is anyone who has not transacted from your brand in the last 12 months. This becomes a good bottom line to understand to what extent can you compromise on the ROAS to essentially bring in a new customer and effectively start using Amazon as an acquisition channel and not just as a marketplace. And as you move from down this funnel, you have other elements such as auto campaigns, which help you with identifying new keyword trends. We also recommend setting up hyper-segmented campaigns, which are long-tail keywords. These are campaigns with not more than 5 or 10 keywords. But the idea here is whenever someone searches for these terms, you absolutely want to dominate from a sponsored product standpoint and a sponsored brand standpoint. Once these 4 boxes are checked, you can safely assume that you have a strong cash flow happening from all your basic campaigns, and you're also acquiring new customers. Then we get into a conquesting strategy, where, as Matt mentioned earlier, we have the ability to look at what are some of the top products in your vertical and have a strategy where even when a customer is looking at some of those products on the product detail pages, you still have the option of trying to move a customer away from a competitor brand to your brand using an effective combination of sponsored display and sponsored brand ads. And the last strategy, which essentially closes out this puzzle, is an upsell or a cross-sell strategy. This is something where Amazon is becoming very effective now, thanks to, again, like I said, with a lot of customers choosing to do pretty much everything on Amazon and they don't want to leave that ecosystem. It's important to understand that just like how you would treat remarketing or retention strategies through your email program or on your website, it's important to also look at Amazon as in a similar way. And this is where using either sponsored display campaigns, or if your overall ad spend is significant enough, using the programmatic side of things on Amazon, which is called Amazon DSP, you can use that to effectively retarget and then either upsell or cross-sell to your existing customers. These boxes or these strategies, when combined in a logical way, will essentially ensure that you have a strong organic presence on Amazon using product listings and having price that works for your customers. And to support it from a reach standpoint, the Amazon advertising side of things can kick in to essentially have a full funnel strategy on Amazon. So with that, I'll pass it back to Heather.
Great, thank you, Manish. So I see some great questions coming in, so keep them coming. We're going to get to the Q&A just momentarily. But before we do, I just wanted to cover the resources that we've been sharing all week long. So on day one, we shared how to choose the right CMS platform. There has been a rise in content management systems. So NetElixir has compiled an SEO cheat sheet to explore the advantages and disadvantages inherent in each platform and to give you a better understanding of how each platform can support your business. I highly recommend that you download this free resource by going to netelixir.com/university/knowledge-library. All right, and then next, one more free resource for you guys. So if you guys are asking when should you switch to an enterprise solution platform, we also created this free checklist that you can go to netelixir.com/webinar, same website that you came to register, to download. So if you check any of those boxes, you may want to consider switching to an e-commerce platform. All right, with that, I'm going to move it over to the Q&A. So I'll welcome back Manish and Matt. We have a few questions here from the audience. Manish, the first question is for you. On Amazon, to get buy box, one has to constantly change price. Do companies selling on Amazon and D2C maintain the same price?
Awesome. That's a great question. So there are a few ways to go about it. First of all, it depends on whether you are selling on Amazon as a brand or are you a reseller. In certain instances where you are the only one selling on Amazon and you have a very protected environment and you don't have any resellers, pricing becomes less of a concern. But I think the question also points to the fact that if you have a lot of resellers or if you are yourself in the reseller space, then pricing obviously becomes one of the biggest components in helping you win the buy box. What we have typically seen is there are a couple of tools out there which essentially track prices on a real-time basis, and they have the ability to either alert you when a competitor is undercutting you on price, and because of that you are losing out on the buy box. And there are also solutions out there which help you automatically adjust the price, where you can set a certain threshold that I'm willing to go down up to this level as long as I'm able to win buy box because of that. But otherwise, we do recommend keeping price somewhat similar between D2C and Amazon, because if you look at it from a consumer standpoint, if Amazon prices end up being too low compared to your D2C, then it becomes much more of a reason for them to navigate away from the D2C side, and eventually you will not end up owning them from a retention standpoint.
Great. All right, and then we have one more question. We're doing great on time, but how long should campaigns on Amazon run on average?
Right. I don't think there's any specific number that I can give there, but typically what we have seen, again, thanks to our experience working on Amazon paid search and many other platforms, is that Amazon typically has the least learning period. For example, when you launch a new campaign on Google, it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for the algorithm to learn, that, all right, this is where this campaign has a sweet spot. We've seen something similar on Facebook as well. Whereas in Amazon, what we see is the moment you launch the campaign, as long as the product is priced right and you have a good solution overall, in the first 2 weeks, you will start seeing some early results. And as long as you have a system in place to react to the pricing changes and also make sure that your listings are optimized, within the first 2 to 4 weeks, you will definitely start seeing some early results.
Matt, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, Manish kind of answered it all. I was going to add in the similarities between paid search or differences actually amongst Google, where the learning phase is a little different, where Amazon is a little bit quicker to pick up. So that is an added benefit, absolutely.
And what we also do, Heather, is which is something that we are doing with all our existing clients, is when we have access to data on the paid search side and on the Amazon side, a common linking aspect is the fact that you have keyword-based searches on both platforms. And what we are now doing with our clients is constantly reporting on the top search queries on Google and the top search terms on Amazon and comparing them side by side, which essentially helps us understand whether there are certain search terms which are doing better on Google for whatever reason. And we also have the ability to connect it back to a user experience component and the product side of it, wherein on Amazon, you might be competing with a different set of brands that are more prevalent, whereas on Google, it might be a different set of brands. And that can then, filter into your overall conquesting strategy as well.
Nice. Yeah, that's really interesting. So we have no more questions. We're right on time. So I really just wanted to thank our audience. Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Matt, for joining me today. Thank you to all our speakers that joined us this week and all of our attendees. I will be sharing the recordings and all the resources tomorrow morning with everyone. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at info@netelixir.com. There's also a survey that's going to appear on your screen. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could take a time to just fill out that survey. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.